That's clever work, hasn't it? Yeah, that's impressive.
Welcome to this next instalment of Railriders. Today we're going to be exploring the Mid Norfolk Railway's diesel gala on the 9th of April 2019. For this trip on the first train of the day down to Wymondham, we'll be travelling in these Mark II aircon coaches. So it's time to get ready for some thrash. The traction pulling the first train of the day out of Dereham to Wymondham will be taken by visiting Class 37 locomotive, courtesy of Direct Rail Services, 37423 Spirit of the Lakes. Now this is what you got to do. (37423) is an enhanced Class 37-4 with the wide-pack lights fitted to either end of the nose. The wide-pack lights were fitted on the 37s for the purpose of working on the main line and being more sufficient in this matter. Others were fitted with enhancements such as LED lights instead of the original bulbs. On 37423 you can still see where the original headcode box would have been placed, with the blanked off rectangular square in the middle. Quiet now and let you enjoy the thrash of this Class 37 along the Mid Norfolk Railway. And boy, does she sound beast. Marston is the midway point of the line and is the main place where trains pass each other. In this particular moment, the resident Class 101 DMU passes us into the second adjacent platform.
It's real. It's not air cons either.
Wyndham is the railway's terminus and is where trains run round their stock and connect to the other end before returning back up to the headquarters at Dereham. Wyndham is a market town and civil parish in South Norfolk district of Norfolk, England, 9.5 miles southwest of Norwich, off the A11 road to London. The River Tiffy runs through the parish, one of the largest in Norfolk. The town developed within the Anglo-Saxon period, with the establishment of a priory in 1107.
They changed the points yet. Second man's probably going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to come right there. Huh? That's him, isn't it? What's that? Huh? Turbo fan. Bob. Oh my God,
You know what? I'm a making me when I come to nowhere stand. Look at that. Look at it.
Now back at Dereham, we witness the sight of another visiting locomotive to the event, Class 50 Hoover 5008 Thunderer. The BR Class 50 was a class of 50 diesel locomotives designed to haul express passenger trains at 100 miles per hour, built by English Electric at the Vulcan Foundry in Newton-le-Willows between 1967 and 1968. The Class 50s were initially on a 10-year lease from English Electric Leasing and were employed hauling express passenger trains on the then non-electrified section of the West Coast Main Line between Crewe and Scotland, initially numbered D400 to D449 and known as the English Electric Type 4. This wasn't the first event we saw 5008 in action. The last time we saw the locomotive in action was in 2016, 3 years ago, at the April Diesel Gala of the Nene Valley Railway. The name Thunderer that 5008 carries was named after an Orion class dreadnought battleship built for the Royal Navy in the early 1910s. 5008 worked its last train in November 1991 and was withdrawn in June 1992 due to it being surplus to requirements, thereby becoming the 46th Class 50 locomotive to be withdrawn after over 24 years of active service. Its engine hours stood at 8,537. After its withdrawal, 5008 was initially purchased by Pete Waterman, but was then subsequently sold for commercial use to Sea Containers Limited in 1998. The locomotive remained in their ownership for several years, stored outside at London and North Western Railway Crew, with the intention that it will eventually be sold and exported abroad. The locomotive now bears the same British Rail Lara blue livery it once carried during its final years of service, whilst allocated to the Lara DCWA Civil Engineers pool within British Rail. The British Rail Class 37 diesel locomotive is a diesel-electric loco, also known as the English Electric Type 3. The class was ordered as part of the British Rail Modernisation Plan. They were numbered in two series, D6600 to D6608 and D6700 to D6999. The Class 37 became a familiar sight on many parts of the British Rail network, in particular forming the main motive power for intercity services in East Anglia and within Scotland. They also performed well on secondary and interregional services for many years. The Class 37s are known to some rail enthusiasts as tractors, a nickname due to the agricultural sound of the diesel engine of the locomotive. Despite all members of the class now being over 55 years old, more than 60 locomotives are still mainline registered and remain active, undertaking a variety of passenger, freight and departmental duties on the National Rail network in 2020. Approximately 30 locomotives have been preserved. Now heading into Dereham is another visiting locomotive to the event, 03197 from the Mangaps Farm Railway, pulling into the station with a DMU set. This is the shuttle service between Hoe and Dereham. Class 03s were built for light duties where a larger locomotive was not needed, especially for shunting at locomotive and carriage depots and as station pilots, or where larger or heavier locomotives could not be used. The reduction over time in the demand for shunting locomotives meant that they were progressively withdrawn from 1968 onwards, many being sold to private industry. However, some remained in service much longer, with two examples on the Isle of Wight lasting until 1993. For the first time ever at a gala event, we see a Class 90 DVT in some form of operation on a heritage railway for the first time in the entire world. Resident Class 47, 47367 Kenny Cockbird couples to the DVT. This will form a top and tail service for the next train out towards Wyndham Abbey. Another visiting loco to the event from the Mangaps Farm Railway was Class 33 Crompton 33202 Dennis G. Robinson. Sadly, the locomotive was underused at this event, and we didn't get a chance to actually ride behind it. To take the next train Wyndham bound is Class 41 prototype HST Powercar 41001, owned by the HST group of the GCRN. (37423) now heads into Dereham Loop, ready and waiting to take the next train out towards Wyndham Abbey after the HST has departed. size, got his new EE top on.
That size warm.
After lunch, Class 50 50008 heads into the station with the next train. We're going to catch 37423 to Thaxton, halfway point of the line.
Oh. Lovely job. Done nice.
Cowpack's been trying to ring me. Sorry.
Come all the way up here to talk to something you dig out, you go through quick with yourself.
It was 33.
Oh, fine, I'll be all right.
Now at Thaxton we see the return of 47367 with the HST Powercar on the rear heading into the station. We're going to catch this service down to Dereham and then catch the following service from Dereham to Thaxton once again. The other resident locomotive in operation at the event was the resident Class 47 47596 Aldborough Festival in its nice Network South East livery. A total of 512 Class 47s were built at Crewe Works and Brush's Falcon Works, Loughborough, between 1962 and 1968, which made them the most numerous class of British mainline diesel locomotive. They were fitted with the Sulzer 12 LDA 28C twin bank 12 cylinder unit producing 2,750 bhp. This was later derated to 2,500 bhp to improve reliability. The Class 41 HST prototype is the predecessing loco to the Class 43 high-speed trains. We have witnessed this locomotive running on the Mid Norfolk Railway before, 3 years earlier, on the April 2016 diesel gala. The British Rail Class 41 were two power cars built in 1972 by British Rail Engineering Limited's Crewe Works to operate with the prototype high-speed train with Mark III carriages. In December 1990, 41002 was scrapped at CF Booth Rotherham, while 41001 was restored cosmetically and donated to the National Railway Museum. It was later sold to the Great Central Railway in Nottingham. On the rear of the HST's train, we see the site of Class 37-9 locomotive 37905, numbered D6836. Locomotives 37136 and 37206 were converted to Ruston engine locomotives in 1987 and renumbered as 37905 and 906. They were fitted with the Ruston RK27OT engine and GEC alternator. The reason these locomotives were fitted with these engines were for experimental purposes.
Good morning, Great British Breakfast. This is wicked. I probably am, yeah. Bacon roll or something.
37905 with 41001 on the rear of the train were pulling the first train out of Dereham at this 2016 gala event. On board of this service was a breakfast train, and luckily enough, me and Simon so happened to be treated to this experience. And what a memorable experience it was.
Cheers.
Bit luxury.
This is how to do galas.
This is the delights of being part of the Trainhunters. Yeah, I feel like royalty in here. Look at this. This is the nuts. The absolute nuts.
It's not every day that you get to witness the delights of having a meal on board of a train. Now back at Dereham at this event, we see Class 37, 37905 heading off into Dereham sidings. We're going to watch this train do its bit before heading back to the present day Mid Norfolk Railway. Back at the present day Mid Norfolk Railway, we see 37423 heading in with a train bound for Dereham into Thuxton Platform 2. We're going to catch this service down to Dereham in order to catch Class 50 5008 Thunderer on the full length of the line. Well, sort of. We'll get to that story. I'm going to keep quiet now so you can enjoy the delights of this rather claggy Hoover.
So bad that Simon's decided to jump ship. And yes, I.
Indeed, we decided to abandon ship. It was one of the most claggiest locomotives that we have ever come across, and sadly it was kind of burning our eyes a little bit, being behind it. So we decided we should head back onto the next train down to Dereham. This train to be taken by 47596 Alba Festival. Before we leave and end this programme, we are going to take our time to watch clips of 41001, the prototype HST, which sadly, not long after this event, failed at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, and it was rather catastrophic. Sadly, the locomotive was then sold back to the National Railway Museum, where sadly it will remain as a static exhibit for the rest of its days.
So, what's running at 1800?
It's always top.
We've got the HST Powercar plus right, so we will get the HST Powercar. Oh, we packed away the slides. Yeah, because they kept blowing off.
A very big farewell to the Class 41 HST. Mid Norfolk was the beginning of an epic adventure around Norfolk. It's time to take the journey around Norfolk's railways.
Why don't you come on a train ride with us? It will be the best train ride in the world. I'm riding a 47 on the main line! Yes!
That's it then.
We've got to run and get this train.
I missed the last train.
Marty Bog action. That's what we want. Can't do karaoke with Simon, Sam and Michael.